Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about the most recent Denzel Curry album entitled Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. For those who are not familiar, or if you've just never listened to Denzel Curry's music before, he is a rapper. He's from Florida. He's been rapping for quite some time now, just about 10 years at this point, if not more, longer than that. He primarily gained a lot of recognition for the most part in the underground scene, although he has gained some mainstream success and recognition with songs like Ultimate, for example, that blew up a while ago, many years ago. And it was a song that a lot of people were using in memes and whatnot. So he, at that point, started blurring the lines between underground and mainstream. And he's kind of sat in that weird gray area ever since. I've personally been following him since his SoundCloud days, and it's been exciting to see him grow over the years and watch him change as an artist and try all sorts of new styles and sounds. This album is now his fifth studio album, and I've got to say it is a very solid addition to his discography. So, as per usual, I'm going to give you my highlights track by track, beginning with track number 1, entitled Melt Session Number 1, featuring Robert Glasper. On this song, we've got a very smooth approach to the production. A lot of this album is in that same vein, featuring a lot of smooth boom bap beats on this song in particular. And there's all sorts of beautiful melodies sprinkled in the instrumental. I can hear a blend of a piano, as well as a keyboard and hummed vocals. The drums are constantly moving and they're always grooving. Denzel's lyrics are simple in terms of word choice, and his rapping is top notch as per usual. He's always been a very talented rapper with his wordplay, his breath control, his inflection, and it's clear that it's going to be no different on this project. And on this song, we get themes of positive self-development. We hear a lot of growth, and we get a clear picture of how mature he is feeling at this present time. And he acknowledges on the song that he's grown a lot, but it's interesting to note that he makes it very clear that his growth is far from complete, which I think shows the real level of maturity that he's experiencing currently. Track number 2, Walking. I think this is probably my favorite song so far. The intro features a beautiful vocal melody accompanied by a subtle acoustic guitar, and we also hear a keyboard in the background. This is the main sample that we hear throughout the song, and the drums that we hear on this song feel like they're walking, which is perfect. Featuring syncopated kicks and hi-hats that feel very organic. Not super quantized, kind of like in a Jay Dilla sort of way. It's very, it feels like the song is a living, breathing thing. It's really cool. The drums aren't cookie cutter, and they feel like a live performance in that way. It's like somebody's actually playing those drums. They're not programmed. The beat switches about third of the way into the track, and then at that point we get a banger of a beat with a lot of sprinkly hi-hats providing a ton of energy, steady kicks and snares to accentuate that the beat is now walking at a slower pace. And Denzel's flows change along with the music, along with that changing. And each flow seems to match their respective drum patterns that they're laid upon, which I think accentuates the really strong pacing of the song. And then once we hit the main chorus of the song, it's about in the last third of the track. Lyrically, the main theme of the song is driven home as we hear Denzel rapping, "Keep on walking, ain't no stopping, in this dirty, filthy, rotten, nasty little world we call our home." It's clear that Denzel values perseverance, and he's consistently describing how important it is to keep moving forward. It's a big theme on this album as a whole. Track number 3, Worst Comes to Worst. This song has got exceptional production, another smooth boom bap instrumental, and the background music is very beautiful as well. I enjoy the vocal sample that we've got on this track. It features a simple refrain that adds the main melodic element to the track. And the track is just as introspective as the first couple of songs, as we hear lines like, accompanied by famine and death, it's no choice but to stay at home, examine yourself. There's low voices getting higher as the fire ignites at the end of the blunt, wondering am I going to make it to see the end of the month. It's clear that there's a lot of frustration, uncertainty, and reflection in the heart of this song. I love the outro of the song as well. It's oozing with a lot of classic hip hop style production and that energy. You've got a ton of record scratches all over the track. Oh, and overall, the instrumental on its own is just so incredibly solid. Track number 4, John Wayne featuring Buzzy Lee. Buzzy Lee, we hear at the intro. She's got this beautiful vocal melody with some auto-tune thrown onto it. It's a very unexpected feature. She's like an indie pop vocalist, and I like her. While minimal, I do enjoy her contribution to this track. We really only hear her vocals at the very beginning and at the very end, at the outro. The instrumental itself features some wavy keyboard chords that fluctuate between all sorts of pitches in a very liquid manner. It's kind of wavy. That's the best way I can describe it. And we also have a low bass that slides up and down, following this kind of wave movement. The drums are layered, and we get some more great boom bap beats. The drums themselves are layered and complex. They provide the basic structure for the song, and the bass line provides the foundation of the groove. We get some angry and resentful energy coming through on this track. We hear lines like, I'm going to give them what they gave us on the first grade. No remorse. I'm going to give them boys pain. And the following lines, the world is darker than the integration of a Brooklyn Dodger. All I need is me, myself, and I, and also my revolver. Crackers out here shooting joggers, trouble making fire starters. Denzel comments on race relations within the states and the effects that are still felt to this day because of countless decisions that have been made throughout the history of the United States. Perhaps the most poignant line comes when he says, so much pain I've endured, now I'm painless. I got the juice, my only weapon is my stainless. My little weapon gave me power when I aimed it. Moving on to track number 5, entitled The Last. I love the vocal melody that we hear on this track. Lyrically, Denzel is speaking on the socioeconomic state of life within the United States in particular. He speaks on the current cultural climate in a way that sounds kind of sad to me. We hear lines like, any day could be your last day, so much trouble in the streets that we need to buy an AK. Looking for answers, that's what I've been seeking. The ones with influence don't be teaching. It's an acknowledgement of the hopelessness one can feel when considering how many different types of struggles and troubles exist in our nation, and these are all issues that have been issues for decades. But we've got zero sign of any real significant change coming anytime soon. It can be disheartening, and it's a very tough pill to swallow when you come to feel this way and you come to think in that way. My personal favorite line was delivered when Denzel comments on fake social activism that we see on social media, and he says, and your so-called revolution ain't nothing but a post, period. While bleak, this perspective is very realistic to how many Americans think. It's a very timely commentary on the social climate of the country as a whole. Track number 6, Mental, featuring Saul Williams and Bridget Perez. I love the chord progression and vocal harmonies that we can hear throughout this song. It's an easy listening track with a laid-back beat, featuring several different samples for the drums. We've also got a keyboard accompaniment and a deep bass that just barely rumbles throughout the song, providing the real groove, the heart and soul of the track. Saul Williams brings his trademark poetic delivery to the song as he raps throughout the outro, and it's a beautiful spoken word piece. Really thought-provoking stuff. Track number 7, Troubles, featuring T-Pain. T-Pain's feature, I think, almost stole the show on this cut for me. It was totally unexpected. My first time listening to this, I was at work and I just had the music playing in the background, and I'm like, "Is that T-Pain?" And it was T-Pain. His vocals are phenomenal, with harmonies that are thrown in for emphasis at certain points in his verses, and his flow. It's all beautiful work. The processing on his vocals are crystal clear. It's so crisp. It's like McDonald's Sprite. Denzel's delivery matches this energy as he brings his trademark energetic flow. He amps up the energy a little bit here, and his inflection is it's all there. The instrumental itself also has many beautiful touches. It's subtle detailing for the most part, sprinkled in throughout the track. And I love how the percussive elements were used, specifically the sample choices, the drum fills that lead into each and out of each transition. It's all immaculate. It works organically. We can also hear a sort of drippy pad or a keyboard of some kind playing in the background, which is accompanied by what I feel like sounds like a melting guitar. It's very wavy. It's very trippy. While it is simple, the backing for this track emphasizes a lot of the vocal melodies and creates another living, breathing song. And it all feels kind of like a live performance. It's very cool. I love this song. Moving on to track number 8, entitled Ain't No Way, featuring Black, aka Six Lack, for those who didn't know how to pronounce it. It's pronounced Black. Rico Nasty, JID, Josiah, Powers Pleasant, and Kitty Cash. Insanely immaculate energy on this song. Black brings a decent performance to the song with his verse, his contributions. The chanted refrain of the song amps up the energy as Josiah chants the title of the song. And then this leads into Rico Nasty's verse. She brings her own signature flair, her energetic delivery, and she contributes a lot of her own personal oomph to this song. It's really nice. After this, we've got Black's verse again, which leads us into JID's verse. It's a brief section, but it's full of his own laid-back energy that is unique to his delivery, and we've got his trademark flows on here as well. Denzel Curry picks up where JID left off, and he matches this energy, and he closes out the verses of the song. And I feel like this song is an ode to those who stay on their grind, as we hear in the first verse. Gotta take it slow, fuck up out my way, been 5 years, still ain't took a break. I done did so much, and still, I paved my way. Good poker face, do that shit with grace. The instrumental is solid, and I like how the vocalists really steal the show on this song. The musical arrangements do change in some subtle ways from section to section, but it's nothing crazy. We've got different kicks changing to different kick samples, but we also have changing drum patterns. The whole song feels like it's a very fluid jam session. Everybody's just having a good time. Moving on to track number 8, entitled X-Wing. This instrumental features a lovely string sample, which is accompanied by a very sparkly keyboard. And this feels like the sonic heart of the song, these sounds that we have here. I love the way Denzel's vocals sound on this track, and I honestly can't recall another moment where his voice kind of sounded like this as it does here. It's a lot more melodical and high-pitched than what I'm used to hearing from him in the past. His flows here feel confident, they feel effortless, really. And this matches the lyrical content as he raps. For example, Mac ain't make it to 27, Pac ain't make it to 26, Big ain't make it to 25, it's only right, I gotta get rich. He speaks on his own personal grind, which has never really stopped. It's been nonstop for years. And he speaks from an honest place, and I think he allows himself the space to be proud of how far he's come, and honestly, it's well-deserved. He's been working at it for years, incessantly. Track number 10, entitled Angels, featuring Carrie M. Riggins. The energy on this song eases up, and as a result, the whole album slows down for a little bit and chills out. As Denzel belts out a ton of bars and solid wordplay. The instrumental itself is smooth, it's a bit more subdued. featuring a very easygoing beat, a low walking bass line, and we've got a beautiful piano on here as well. The chorus, which is sung by Riggins, is beautiful, it's simple, it provides the listener a breather from the nonstop bars that we get from Denzel Curry on the song. Riggins' vocals are angelic with some subtle delay on them, which adds to the ghostly, beautiful energy. It's a little bit ethereal almost. It's very cool. Denzel is speaking from a mature place as we hear him reflecting on those he sees around him, people that he comes across, and he recognizes that he himself was once in a similar place as the ones that he can tell that they are currently in life. He looks at this growth that he's experienced, and he acknowledges that he's so far from removed from where he once stood. He's completely separated from that. I think my favorite line from the song was one where we hear, "I passed God's test, understood life fully, the wing-ridden angel, the horn-hidden demon. The day I go to war, this is the song I be singing." Moving on to track number 11, entitled "The Smell of Death." This is a real brief cut, sitting just under 2 minutes long. The instrumental itself is crazy, but it's also simple. The drums are full of rides, hi-hats, a lot of overheads, and samples. And we have a smooth synth that's holding down some pedal tones that seems to alternate between two different octaves. It's just switching up and down. And we also have a subtle guitar that accentuates the chaotic chords that we hear throughout the song. We also have a choir full of harmony that's accompanying certain sections of the song. And honestly, kudos to Thundercat. I didn't realize this, but he actually worked on a lot of the production on this song, and he did a phenomenal job. Check him out if you've never listened to Thundercat. Track number 12, Sanjuro, featuring 454. Here, the album gets kicked into an entirely new gear with a turnt banger of an instrumental, featuring a very thick, fat kick drum, horn samples that are mixed with synths and some other effects. It's wild sonic stuff. At some point, we even hear some electric guitars that add some spice to the sound of the song. Denzel's verses are solid as he explains himself to those folks that have things misconstrued, and he highlights what he views as his own place in hip-hop as a whole, and the culture as a whole. He says, "Bitch, I'm a king, R.I.P. to King Ghidorah, give out dilemmas, we taking out problems, all of this hate, keep on spreading like pollen, I rose above it like flowers that blossomed." 454 handles the chorus on this song, and while I do enjoy his flows and his wordplay, I don't know if it's the timbre of his voice or the processing of it, but it feels like he's kind of out of place on this song. It didn't really ruin my enjoyment of the song as a whole, but it does feel like something is a bit off. Moving on to track number 13, entitled Zatoichi, featuring Slow Tie. I'm a big fan of the fast-paced and high energy that we get on this track. We've got several different beat switches, but the primary two patterns are this. We've got an 808 banger groove, and then we've also got, on the other hand, a very breakcore jungle break style drive in the drums. Just imagine a drum and bass track with Denzel Curry on it, and then in addition to that, you've got Slow Tie on here as well. His performance on the chorus is awesome. I like how the engineers and producers managed to harness the raw energy of his vocal delivery. He's a very animated type of rapper, and I think they've managed to harness the energy in his voice in a way that makes his voice hard to recognize. At first, I didn't realize that that's who it was, and then I kept looking at the track title, and I'm like, wow, really? That's him? Denzel Curry matches his energy with his own verses, and they've honestly got great chemistry together. Thematically, the song keeps the overarching walking theme of the album going. As Denzel explains, for example, "I'm Zatoichi, leading the blind, pressure get applied. is that Oichi's like a Japanese character, who's like a blonde guy who leads people into out of certain situations. And we feel this unstoppable and consistent and persistent energy moving forward. It's something that's sonically echoed with Slow Tie's frantic delivery on the chorus. It's like we're moving, we're going somewhere. And obviously, the instrumental further drives that point. This song is another collaboration between both rappers. It's not the first time they've worked together, and I honestly hope it's not the last time we hear them work together. They've got really, really great chemistry. And moving on to the album closer, track number 14, entitled The Ills. This is probably the most reflective song and introspective song on the entire album, as Curry closes the album out with a reflection of himself as a man and as an artist. On the chorus, we hear him say, "I'm seeing illusions in the pockets of my brain. I use it, then find a way to illustrate my pain. Confusion, because you don't understand a word I'm saying. Forgive me for all I done, because I be barely praying." Denzel recognizes that he's a flawed individual, but he also understands that he's capable of growing into a better version of himself as well. Longtime listeners of Denzel Curry know that this is a very big theme in his music. I feel like it's always present to some extent on every album of his, honestly. But it sounds like he's coming from a more mature place this time around, as he's understanding more about himself than he ever has before. The instrumental features a beautiful jazzy piano sample, and the drums match this cool and calm energy. And there are subtle effects thrown in here and there, but it's mainly just sprinkled in there like some parsley or some cilantro. It's nothing distracting, it just enhances the experience. And Denzel Curry's vocals really take center stage here. They lay flat across the track, and they are the center of attention. Overall, I think that this was an exceptionally solid album, truth be told. As I mentioned, I've been listening to Denzel Curry for several years now, and it's amazing to hear the growth that he's gone throughout the years. It's inevitably starting to show in his music. I'm talking about personal growth, really. When he first started rapping, he was really just a kid. In interviews that I've watched of him in the past, he's expressed how he now has come to view his past self as a naive child at the beginning of his career. But the Denzel Curry that I hear on this album has come a long, long way, and honestly could never be mistaken for a child. It's clear that he's lived through a lot of different experiences that have caused him to grow up. Sonically, this album is a very clear departure from his two previous albums, Zoo and Taboo. And this album is a lot more laid back, I think easier for most audiences to get into. His previous albums were a lot angrier, and the production style was a lot more aggressive, and I think that may have turned off a couple of potential listeners, but this album is very distinct in that. And I think that this deliberate choice to feature a more accessible production styles will help Denzel Curry gain some new listeners, probably. He's really not a mainstream artist by any means, which he comments on all the time in his music, but I honestly can hear some of the songs from this album getting some radio play, some airwaves, airtime, but I'm really just eager to hear how he will continue to grow as an artist, and I'm excited to see where he goes next from here. For now, it's just time to enjoy this album for what it is, for how great it is. But I'm looking forward to whatever music he ends up putting out next. Such a great artist, and he keeps growing and he keeps delivering. And it's a great time to be a Denzel Curry fan. But yeah, I think those are all my thoughts on this album. If you have any music that you would like to send my way, please do that, because I'm always looking for new music to listen to. And if you've taken the time to listen to me talk about Denzel Curry and his new album, I really do appreciate you taking the time to do that, because you don't have to. And I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, and I genuinely hope that you have a very great day. Thank you.